Here is Kate B. Welcome to my channel. I'm doing this live stream from sunny Florida, and today is Saturday night live with Kate B. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm in a very good mood. I'm happy it's Saturday, and it's a nice weekend so far. It's very relaxing. I try not to plan a lot for this weekend. But I went to do my hair last weekend. I had an appointment to do my hair. So Stella, my daughter, says that it's not very nice to brag, but I'm here to brag a little bit about my new haircut. And I got my highlights. I colored my roots. And I'm very happy because even if she does only the roots, I feel like a little lighter all over my hair. I feel like I'm more blonde with the when I touch up the roots timely, like about 2.5, 3 months. So Stella, my daughter, was just here for a brief minute to say hi, and she told me it's not very nice to brag, but because I'm a YouTuber now, I want to bring all the best, whatever happens in my life. I want to share it with my viewers. So here I am. I'm sharing with you my new look, my new hair. I cut it a little shorter because my hair is thinning out, and because I do highlights, it gets really dry with the chemicals and with aging. Yes, let's face it, we're aging. But I embrace it. My motto is age gracefully. Don't worry about it. Just try to age gracefully. So I'm aging gracefully. My hair is thinning out. So I got a little shorter haircut just to give my my hair a little boost. When it's shorter, I hope, I hope it grows out and has less weight when it's too long. So here I am, Saturday night. So I was thinking, two viewers, welcome to my channel, Kate B here. The last time I did live stream was Thursday night. I took you to the lake, you saw the beautiful lake, the beautiful sunset. Today is Saturday. Adriana, welcome. Oi. Welcome, Adriana. So I was thinking what I'm gonna talk about today. Usually, I don't write a scenario. I'm just trying to talk from my heart, something that like interests me, something that I want to give an extra thought. And I thought when I do live stream, it's a good opportunity for me to share my thoughts on some topic, to reflect how I feel, and it's a sort of self-therapy to talk to my viewers. It's like talking to a good friend. It's like letting your heart pour out. I don't go into much personal or too intimate details, I hope, but I still want to have my viewers who can relate, who can understand. Adriana, what is that language? Rilu. I'm not sure what you're trying to say, but welcome. Thank you for viewing. Thank you for stopping by. So here I am. What was the topic? I was thinking to myself, today I'm going to talk about how I'm trying to achieve this golden middle. We all strive for having work, life, family balance, whatever you want to call it, life balance. We all are looking for happiness. We all are looking for, something that makes us fulfilled, that makes us feel fulfilled, that have sense, that we all pursue some values, or we all try to live by some values, and we all pursue like happiness, and we're trying to understand, so what is really what happiness really is. So for me, it was hard to understand that phrase, that when people say happiness is not happiness is not the destination, the happiness is the journey. So when I first heard that phrase, I thought to myself, well, how does it make sense? Real love. Okay, Adriana, welcome. So I thought to myself, well, why people say happiness is a journey rather than the destination, but that phrase always was on my mind. And I think with maturing, with getting older, with having a lot more experiences in life, with raising children, with raising children, when your children are a little older, when you finally get a little more mature, a little more wise, we're not gonna say like old, because this is the time, I truly believe that this is the time when you mature and you're getting wise, this is the time you can accept yourself a little better, you can have a little more self-confidence, and it doesn't matter that, you know, you're a certain age. For some people, this wisdom comes earlier, for some people, this wisdom never comes, so we're all different. But for me, I was thinking, since I started the YouTube channel, I wanted to pour my heart out and just discuss the topics I really care about, just discuss how I feel every week, every day, every month, and what I expect from certain age, what are my expectations from a certain age, from a certain times in my life. So how I see myself trying to achieve this, you know, balance, or trying to achieve happiness, or trying to achieve just to be there, not to lose it, or just, you know, not to go cuckoo, not to go crazy, not to so pretty much what I do and how I arrange my everyday life to have this work-life, family balance, and not to feel overwhelmed, not to feel stressed. So I wanted to talk about what we all need to achieve that balance. And it doesn't you read a lot of books now, there is a lot of information, and you, on top of that, I love to read fiction books. I love to read something about how our brain works. I love to read about good habits. I love to read about healthy lifestyle. And you can't follow everything that's available there. You can't follow all the advice that psychologists give you. You can't follow all the advice that doctors give you. You get lost in all this kind of like different information, new studies, and you kind of get lost in all of that information, but you stop at some point. You stop and you choose something that you want to try for yourself, and if it works for you, if it works for your loved ones, if it works for your family, you kind of try to get into those little routine and live your life a little more healthier, a little more, you know, a little more balanced, a little more content, let's say like that. So let's go back to that phrase. Life, like happiness is not the destination, it's a journey. So interesting how our brain works. Like when we anticipate something, let's say you're going on a vacation, and you know, like you choose like the fun, beautiful destinations, like let's say you choose something, you go into the seaside, or you know that it's going to be very pretty tropical paradise, and that anticipation of the travel, the anticipation of the vacation makes you so happy, makes you so eager the time to go by faster, so you finally go to that vacation. And then you go to the vacation and you try to relax, you try not to think about work, you try not to think if you left your kids behind, you went with your partner. So all these thoughts, you try and you're gonna go, you're gonna just read and relax and read the book. But when you get there, that thrill of waiting, the thrill of anticipation, for some reason, the thrill of anticipation is a little bit gone. So when you go to vacation, you spend such a good time, but the last day or two, you started to think that life is not all about just having vacation once in a while. Like, you start thinking, oh well, my vacation is over. Why life is so unfair? Why you only go for vacation for 7 days and then you go back into your routine, into your responsibilities? You have to go back to work. You have the piles of like stuff that waits for you at home, like what you need to do, what you need to accomplish, and you think to yourself, life is not fair. But on the other hand, I'm not a person that can take vacations forever. Vacations make me relaxed. I love vacations. I love to go change the scenery. I love to enjoy myself, new foods, just being relaxed, not thinking about household duties, not thinking about work. But at some point, even during the vacation, I beat myself. I'm telling to myself, well, like you can afford to be lazy. You can afford to take this beautiful vacation. You can afford to have 7 days without responsibilities, just enjoying life, spending money, seeing new things, trying new foods. But when you get back, you always have like this feeling, oh, here I am. My life is not a vacation. My life is not just happy-go-lucky every day. My life is so full of responsibilities every day. So how I balance this feeling of being happy, being relaxed, being just, less anxious, and how I balance it in the everyday life, how I eat good foods, not only when I go to vacation. So you think to yourself how you organize your everyday life to feel happy every day. So that's why happiness is the journey. It's not the destination. So I've been thinking about the phrase, and then other things came along. I learned through experiences. Like when my kids were young, and I turned 40, I thought, wow, how did I end up being 40 if my kids are still young? And I just started my career. Like when I was 40, I only been in the workforce, like here in the United States, I only been in the workforce like for 7-8 years. And I thought to myself, I really want to have my own retirement plan. And in order to do that, you have to be employed, like, I don't remember how much for Social Security purposes, how much you have to be employed, like 12 years or something like that. And I thought, well, I still have like a whole life ahead of me. People go retire here at 65, 67, something like that. But then when I turned 40, I thought to myself, my kids are still young. I only have this 8 years of career. But why I already turned 40? Where did the time go? How I felt so like people, when they turn 40, people start to have this like what is called middle life crisis or something like that. And I think I had that crisis for a little bit because at 40, my kids are still young. I'm exhausted. I'm tired. I don't like myself. I don't take good care of myself. And then, it's all about not to fall into depression. It's all about not to fall into that bad mood and start being sorry for myself. So for me, it was important. Okay, whatever is going on with me, I'm still lucky that, everybody's healthy in my family. I'm still lucky we have good relationship with my loved ones and with my friends. I'm still lucky to have a job, like a meaningful job. I go every day, and that I have nice environment. I don't need to physically work too hard, and I don't need to work like insane hours to provide for my family. I don't need to work outside in the heat. So at the end of the day, I never wanted to go in that sorry for myself mode, because I was, I'm not a very optimistic person just because I have a lot of anxieties. But, over the years, I kind of like like say I educate myself, I go to therapy, I kind of make new connections in my brain. So I kind of get over the things that, you know, make me too anxious. I know how to deal with my anxieties. I learn a lot more from all these studies and all this, you know, interesting books, all this information online. You learn more how to deal with stress, how to, you know, cooperate, how to cope every day with, you know, whatever you have, your anxieties or your bad moods or your anger spells, you know. So you kind of learn as you go. So but what I'm saying, like between 40 and now, it's been 7 years, and let me tell you, like between 40 and now, it's been 7 years, but I already started to feel the difference. Like 2 or 3 years ago, around 45, I started to feel the difference. And when I turned 40, I had a great birthday when I went to Las Vegas and I met my childhood friends from my elementary school, the girls we kept in touch for all these years, the girls we kept in touch even when we moved to different countries, the girls that I felt like that the friendship that lasted like a lifelong friendship. And we get together in Las Vegas for my birthday, and I was so happy that even my husband told me, I like for the past, you know, few years, while having young children, dealing with work and everyday life and young kids, all of a sudden my husband tells me that when you were around those girls, I've never seen you that happy in many years, like since we got like, you know, like married and kids. And I thought to myself, it was so nice to meet people from my culture, meet my girls, meet my friends, to share everything about kids, to share everything about life, to have good memories about childhood, to have good memories about school, about other kids, about friends, about like even you know, talk about what we can remember, what funny stuff we can remember. And I was really so happy. So that was when I was turning 40. We had such a great time. We went to a couple of shows. We ate amazing food, we drank wine, we drank champagne, we went to Las Vegas, we were having a blast. And I thought to myself, well, 40, it was a great birthday, but I still, you know, when we parted, I still went back to my routine and I still wasn't happy with myself. Like I was there, I was happy in the moment. And even my husband told me, oh my gosh, you should see, like when I look at those pictures, we were happy, we were laughing, we were staying late. We just had a blast. But when I came back home, you know, you go back to the routine after the vacation, and again, you're tired, you're exhausted, you have lots of responsibilities, your kids are little, you have like everybody needs something from you from work, everybody needs something from you at home, and you kind of like, you're 40, you're supposed to be in the midlife crisis. I think I had this crisis a little bit because I started to forget about myself. I don't eat healthy, I am always on the run, I'm stressing too much, I don't like how I look. So I have all these feelings of not being happy inside, and but outside, with this nice events, with this nice moments, you think to yourself, yeah, so you're happy. So why it's such a thing, like you may not feel happy inside about yourself, but you're happy on outside just because you get together with people. So I thought, why it happens like that the happiness, it comes in moments. You can't be happy all day long, or you can't be happy all week long. For me, it's like you can be happy and content when you stop this vicious cycle of anxiety and stress in your mind, and when you do something meaningful, when you don't take things close to your heart, and when you interact with people you love, when those interactions are nice conversations, when you share something that somebody can relate to. So and then slowly from 40 to 45, and what I learned from my other friend whose kids were a little older, she would just tell me, just give it some time. Your kid's gonna grow, they're gonna be a little more independent. When they're gonna be teenagers, they're not gonna need you so much. They're gonna be some more other problems, not the problems, but more interesting things at a certain age. But when kids grow, things get a little bit easier. That's what she told me. And I'm like, okay, so from 40 to 45, I'm kind of waiting and waiting when it gets a little easier, you know, like and again we all started to know about like life and work balance. People started to slow down, to reflect, to know their to know their psychological problems, and to notice why they why they get upset, or why they get irritated, why they get angry. I think people just started to be more educated. They just started to be exposed to more knowledge. We have a lot of trainings at work about emotional intelligence, so people learn a lot about emotional intelligence. People learn a lot more, like with the technology, with the internet, with the YouTube, whatever we watch on TV, or whatever we watch in the like Netflix series or movies. We kind of like reflect. We kind of see that, we reflect and see we all deal, at some point we all deal with the same problems. We all deal with the same problems, whether it's like our psychological problems, or it's like problems with relationships, or it's financial problems and struggles, or it's like struggles with health. Like down the line, no matter what is your background, no matter what race you are, no matter where you live, like people still deal with the same problems. Like the problems are universal. Let's say people have like divorces, people don't have good relationship with their parents, people don't have good relationship with their husbands, or like when the kids grow, people like don't have good relationship with their kids. So at the end of the day, I thought to myself, like, if I'm a very controlling person, and I'm a very responsible person. So from 40 to 45, that was the age, when you kind of like start maturing. You turn 40, they're like, boom, you're 40. But where did the life go? You go to school, you try to do everything in a timely manner. Like most people in our culture, when I grew up, they got married earlier. They got married in their 20s. Some people got divorced by 30s, stuck with the kid, like the girls, I mean. The boys can get married twice by the age of 35, But I got married a little later. I got married when I was 32, and I had my first kid around 33. So I thought to myself that if you think about the culture I grew up with, I had my kids a little later in life. But that's okay. That's okay. That worked out. But by the time I was 40 physically, I didn't feel like 40 physically. And I always had the pressure in my head, like, how did I turn 40? Life is going, like past me, like all the fun just goes by me, and I'm missing out on something. So from 40 to 45, my kids are still young. But fortunate enough, I got a new job, and I told you a part of becoming a little happy and content with myself inside, not even outside, but inside. A part of it was choosing a right job. So I had like a certain criteria what I want out of the job, and I always knew I want to work full-time, and I want to have my own retirement plan, and I want to have my benefits, like whatever, insurance, health insurance and stuff like that. And I always thought to myself, I don't have a lot of criteria for my for the place where I want to work. And one of my big criteria was to have normal working hours, normal weekends, and not to bring stress home. And I wanted a office environment. I wanted an office job, and I didn't think about making a career out of it. I didn't think about becoming, big boss. I didn't think about becoming a big boss or make a huge money, or to be a manager. I kind of thought to myself, I just want to be left. I just want to spend time at work and do all the stuff I'll do good, and not to bring stress home. And what was important for me, to have normal hours, to have normal people, like nice people who's not gonna like bug me or be toxic or put stress on me during the work hours. And I just wanted to leave the job and not think about the job like until the next morning when I go to the job. So I found the job in 2015, and I've been at that job 8 years. And what I'm gonna tell you, the part of me being a little more happy, being a little more content with myself, with my life and work balance, is a good job. So my advice, if you struggle at work, if you don't like your coworkers, if you dread every morning to go back to work, or you dread on Sundays, like you start to panic that tomorrow is a work day, just maybe it's time for you to switch jobs and be self-confident. Nowadays you can find what you look for. Just list like 3 criteria, what is important for you in a job, and just try to focus and send as many resumes and be confident, and just try to focus on switching the place. Just have confidence that you're gonna find something you're gonna love. Just give it a little more faith. And as I say, I was always until up my 40, maybe 43, 45, I was a big, huge pessimist. I had so many insecurities. I thought like, oh, now I have 2 kids. If somebody knows that I have 2 kids, they're not going to employ me, because they would think, oh, my kids are young, they're going to get sick. But guess what? It's not true. Nothing is true like what's in your head. It's just the scenarios in your head. Like it has nothing to do with the real life situation. You don't know how people see you. People look at your skills. People want you to be there from 8 to 5 and do this chunk of a job. They don't care, they don't care about your personal life as long as you do a good job. That's my philosophy. So a part of me maturing, making these connections in my brain was, okay, I got a good job now. So if I have a good job, if I like the environment, if the people are nice there, if I'm capable to do something meaningful at that job, and I don't spend all my energy there, and I don't bring stress home, that's something to be grateful about. That's something you check in your personal book and you say, this part of your life helps you to keep your own cool, to keep your own sanity, to be a little more content, to save a little more energy for your loved ones, for being a good mom, for managing household duties too. So again, some women stay home, and I understand that when they're stay-at-home mom, they do 3 times or 4 times more hours than we do at work from 8 to 5, right? And being a stay mom is a choice, and everybody's family and everybody's situation is so much different that it's not my business, it's not my saying to tell them what is better, to be a stay home or to be a working mom. So for me, when I was a stay-at-home mom, I felt like I'm doing 3 times more effort to be a good mom than I'm doing an effort at work from 8 to 5, being a good mom and being a good worker. So I kind of like, it's hard to understand. But remember when during pandemic, we all of a sudden we stayed home. Remember how we felt? We kind of felt lost. We kind of felt lost that we have to be teachers, we have to be doctors in your own house, we have to be in the house stuck like for days and like weeks. And we had this feeling like when it's gonna end, like when kids gonna go back to school. And I remember the time that when they told me I have to go to work once a week, like after the lockdown, we went back to work, let's say June, July. It was the happiest moment for me to go back to work and just be useful and just be appreciated somewhere else except my house. So what I'm trying to say, if you're a stay-at-home mom, you still have to find the balance between being a stay-at-home mom and doing all this work for your house and doing all this work for your kids, for your family. And you still have to find the balance between being a good mom, being a good stay-at-home mom, and being good to yourself, finding time for yourself, finding time for your hobbies, finding time to be lazy, finding time to, I don't know, just chill or cool, or not to be always 100% just a good mom, you know. So I didn't understand that concept before. So from 40 to 45, I put so much pressure on myself to be good to everybody, to everything I do, besides to me. And of course I burn out. Of course, by age of 43, 44, 45, you start experiences like that unhappiness that grew over the years, like you feel like nobody appreciates you. You look at yourself in the mirror and says, how did they get to be that, you know, like that unhealthy? How did they get to be so stressed? How did they get to be so like always like that serious face, no smile? You don't allow yourself to laugh and enjoy life. You're just kind of like whatever, you know. And I didn't want to be that person, whatever. I don't want to be that person, whatever. And even when I watch like YouTube channels and I see all these vloggers talking about everyday life, showing something that, you know, that whatever, they want to make money, it's their hobby, YouTube, or they want to just show and share with people their thoughts. I started to watch them and I started to think to myself, well, maybe I'll be a blogger too. So my first video, I was driving to pick up my daughter from the daycare, and I put my phone there in the car, like on the little, you know, on the dashboard. I didn't even have like anything to hang my phone, but I thought to myself, let me be a blogger, let me vent. Like I will go, and while I'm driving to pick up my daughter from the daycare, I wanted to vent about something. And I saw, and I didn't post these videos because I was too afraid, you know. I didn't like myself. I started to listen to my video, and I'm like, oh, who's this lady talking? Her voice is so mean, or she's so stressed. She's like, and I didn't like it. And I said, no, I'm not going to be a vlogger because I'm so afraid of being judged. I'm so afraid to look tired. I'm so afraid to look, you know, like not healthy and stuff like that. And I have all these thoughts to myself. I'm like, why do I have so many insecurities? I have a decent life in the United States. We are immigrants. We worked so hard to be considered middle class here in this country. We worked so hard most of our lives with this immigration journey, and like with having kids here, with raising kids here, with being responsible, with having jobs, with, you know, with paying bills and everything. So why do I still have a lot of insecurities, that people see me a certain way, that people find flaws in me, that people don't like my appearance, that I'm stressed, that I you know, like my voice is not right, or my English is not good enough, you know. I had so many insecurities that I said, no, I'm not going to be a vlogger. I vented a little bit. I think I filmed like 2 or 3 videos about, I don't know, about life, about children, about, I don't even know. I talked about daycare and what I like about daycare, where my kids go. And I never published that video. I published it, but I kind of hide it somewhere in my like first channel when I had. And I hide them. And I said, no, I'm not going to be a vlogger. And it's been like 2 or 3 years ago. It's been like when I was 43. Maybe 4 years ago. And I said, no, I'm not going to be a blogger, because I said, I'm not happy with myself. So what I can tell the people, what I can tell my viewers if I'm not happy with myself, you know, what useful things I can tell them? What? Like what kind of energy what I'm gonna talking about like, Ma, I like this daycare, I like this about daycare, but I don't like this about this daycare or something. What should I tell? What should I complain about being tired, about like rushing from work to home, trying to cook what's for dinner? You know, I talk to myself like, and I'm saying, no, I'm too stressed to be a vlogger, you know, like I'm not gonna be a vlogger because, you know, I thought if people have a vlog, you know, it's some sort of responsibility. It's a hobby, but don't take me wrong, it's a hobby. You should have you shouldn't consider it's work until it brings you money and you kind of committed to this income. So and if it's money and if you committed to a certain amount of dollars that YouTube paid you, that it becomes a little bit more than a hobby. It becomes a little like business or a job or like a responsibility. But for me, you know, I was so stressed and I didn't like my appearance, you know, I didn't like whatever, my English. I didn't like, well, I found so many flaws in myself, always. And I think it comes from the childhood because we grew up in a culture, everybody criticizes you for every little thing, you know. My mom would tell me I have a huge nose, you know. My mom would tell me I have like bow legs or something. And you keep it in your mind, and so many people around you back in the day, they would criticize you for every little thing, you know. They would just spill it. And I know in some other cultures it's like that. I know Greeks are like that. I know Italian people like that. They just can't, like, in your family, your own people, your own loved ones. And it's like, now I'm not offended about it, but I'm not doing it to my children because, you know, that puts this grain, that puts this seed of of doubt in you, you know. Like, some people are more self-confident, some people didn't listen for what the adults, the important adults in their life, you know, told you, and some people considered it a joke. Some families just can tell you, being blunt, telling you, oh, you're fat, you know, you need to lose some weight. So living in the United States, guess what? It's, people are a little more tactful, people are a little more educated, people are less blunt, people know a little more about psychology, people know a little more about personal, how you call it, personal space, personal bubbles. So, and I think to myself, I was 43 and I still had this childhood, you know, things in my head that, you know, that I beat myself up for every little thing. Like, I said, no, I'm not going to be a vlogger because I'm not self-confident. So if somebody was around filming, I'm like, I'm gonna cover myself, don't film me, I don't want to be in the video, I don't want to be there, like, I'm not gonna look good, I'm gonna look ugly in your video. So I was so stressed, I was so reserved, and I was so afraid of, you know, like, just because I didn't like how I looked, I didn't like how I felt. So let's go a little later. 40, 43, 45. So 45, something going on. Like, at 45, you kind of feel kids are a little bit more grown, they're a little bit more independent, they're doing good at school. And again, you self-educate, you read good books, you read fiction, you watch Netflix, you see people, you see that at the end of the day, everybody struggles their own everybody fights their own struggles, everybody fights with something, you know, whether it's like relationship, whether it's everyday survival, where it's everyday, you know, health issues, where it's everyday. And you kind of start to understand life is not perfect. You can't be happy every minute of every day, unless you're high every minute of every day, you know, or unless you're on drugs, or unless you know, like, alcoholic. You can't, like a normal person, all emotions, all problems are, you know, like, we're dealing with the same crap, pretty much. We're dealing with the same crap. But, you know, when you're growing, when you grow and you educate yourself and you made all these connections in your brain, thankfully, to your experiences in life, and you kind of like by 45, you kind of like start to slow down. And you kind of like in the and pandemic, of course, pandemic taught us a lot of lessons, like the lockdown, the pandemic, being with your loved ones, being stuck in the house, not being able to travel, not being able to go to work. It put our, it put our lives upside down in some way. But I also took the time to reflect. And I also took the time, and it was 2020. We're talking about 3 years ago. Yeah, I was about 44, 45. I took the time to kind of slow down, kind of look at myself and say what I can do, what are my steps to do to minimize the stress, to keep a little, to keep myself a little more, like to keep a little more sane, to minimize my stress, to not react to things in a certain way, to deal with my anxiety, what I can do for myself. And I started to eat healthier. I started to go on long walks. I started to exercise a little more. I started to slow myself down. I wouldn't say I kind of neglected my household duties, but I started to take it a little easier, just like a notch easier. And that doesn't come overnight. It comes gradually. You let some things go gradually. Like I start, what's going to happen if I don't do that? What's going to happen? And magically, I started to notice that the world is not going to fall apart if your laundry is not done on Saturday morning at 10. If your laundry gets done at 11:30 or in the afternoon, the world is not going to fall apart. You're not going to run out of your undies, So I started to let certain things go. I started to be, I'm not going to say I started to slack. Yeah, that's a good word. I didn't completely, I didn't completely start to be oblivious overnight. I didn't start to be ignorant. I didn't start to be like full of, crap and laziness, but I started to just let this control, and I just started to gradually let some things go. And I told to myself, what happens if I don't put if I don't run the machine, like the dishwasher machine at night? What's gonna happen? In the morning, we're not gonna find like a clean fork. Guess what? I bought an extra set of forks and knives and whatever, and I bought an extra set of spoons. And guess what? If one day don't run a dishwasher, magically the world is not falling apart, So what I'm trying to say, that during pandemic, something happened with my brain. I guess it could be, it could be all these circumstances, like all this pandemic crap that, played a trick on my mind, that I kind of started to listen to myself more and listen to my needs, listen to my body, started to realize that I need to slow down for my own sake, for the sake of my loved ones. I need to be a little more loving to myself. I need to give myself a slack. I need to find the ways to kind of like breathe, and kind of like decompress. Yeah. And I didn't do anything like crazy, but I started to go to spa. I start like when everything started opening again, of course. I started to go on walks. I started to listen to interesting books, like I haven't been listening for books forever, but I started to listen to books again. I started to take time like for myself to lay down in bed a little longer on Saturdays. And you think it's a small things, like everybody do it. And believe it or not, I didn't allow myself to do it until I was 43 or 44, because I I always ran somewhere. I always, I always had a plan. I always had I don't know, I always had a list to do, It's just my personality. It's just my personality type. Yeah. I was always on the run. I couldn't just sit still. I needed to do something. So by 40, like let's say 2020, it's like by 43, 44, 44, 45. By 45, I started to feel good, believe it or not, I started to feel good. I started to feel this gratefulness in my heart. I started to feel more relaxed. I started to feel a little more stability. We survived pandemic. We survived physically, like nobody dead or nobody like, sick in my family. And I started to count my blessings a little more. And my kids are growing, they're a little more independent. They have good conversations. And again, from the last stream, I told you how my kids teach me lessons. And my kids are so unique. They're so different. I see different personalities. And I see myself in my little one because she's my clone. Pretty much, she's my clone. Remember that. So when I'm dead, she's gonna be on YouTube. You're gonna see me because she's my clone. But my older one, she's not. She's a totally, completely different personality. And I started to learn from her because she's also mature and she's a teenager. She's going through rough stuff. I have to be there for her. I have to be there, and I have to be sane to give her enough support. I have to be sane for myself. I'm probably like I probably sound like too cliche, but you know how they say when the pressure in the airplane goes low, you have to put the mask on yourself to be able to help your kid. And I only heard it like in my 40s, right? I only heard the phrase like what truly means to put the mask on yourself in order to help someone, your little one. And again, I didn't know about that in a way that you have to be sane and happy to raise happy kids. Why didn't I know about it being 42, 43? Why I only learned it about in that period? Is it that my kids were a little more grown? Is it that I got wiser? Is it the pandemic that played a role in everybody's life, So why I started to realize that I need to take care of myself in order to be there for my kids, to be a sane, happy parent myself, to be able to raise a happy kid and a happy adult too. Why it came so late? So, but I'm grateful it came. So I started to be more grateful. Every day I would sit down and write few things what I'm grateful about. And it could be small things, it could be big things, it could be anticipations of something nice, of something I like. And of course, I go on cruises. I love my cruises. I started to I literally started to being grateful and count my blessings every day. And I slowed down. I magically slowed down. I started to feel more content with everything I do. I come to work. I started to notice things. And what happened during the pandemic, I started to walk around the lake a lot. And I started to get connected with the nature. And back in the day, somebody told me, oh, listen to this like music, listen to the music with the birds chirping, or listen to the music, relaxing music, or like mantras or whatever. And I'm like, no, it doesn't work for me, like it's too boring. Or do yoga, or like do breathing exercise. I'm like, no, I don't believe in that crap, because I was on the go. I was always like that. I was a control freak. Everything should be, like on schedule. Everything should be on time. Everything should be done 100%, But when I started to let it go, the magic started to happen. People, like I started to save my energy. I would go around the lake. I would notice beautiful things. I would notice magnolias. I would notice these big blooms of magnolias. I would notice that I have a jasmine bush around my house. I've been in this house for like 13 years and I've never noticed that big jasmine bush there. Maybe it's not jasmine, it's like a different plant with um, the big blooms, white blooms that looks like begonias or something. But all of a sudden, I look like those angel trumpets or something, the big, and I started to tell myself, come on, I didn't notice all these things. I go to the lake and I see beautiful flower growing out of the trunk of a tree. You know, I see those big oaks with the moss that looks like gorgeous. And I go around the lake and I started to notice that, man, I lived around that lake for like 13, 14, 15 years. I've never noticed the beauty of that lake because I was always rushing like a dog, like a hamster in a wheel. And I started to slow myself down. And some people hated the pandemic, some people hated lockdown, but you know, it was one of the good years for me. It was one of the year when I literally started to slow myself down, and I started to listen to my inner needs, you know, and I started to listen to my needs to be healthier, to be happier, to be content, to be grateful about every day, to be grateful for my family, to be grateful for my health, to be grateful for my financial stability, to be grateful for my job, to be grateful for my friends. And magically, I started to feel a little happier every day. Magically, I started to feel like I'm slowing down. I'm more patient with my kids. I'm more patient with my husband. I'm more patient with my dad. I let a lot of things go. I just started not to have those anxiety scenarios in my head. And I'm like, wow, how could you do it? How could you do it with your own energy? How could you do it with your own effort? How could you do it with your own mental capacity? You know, like how did it all start to fall in place? And you're like 45, 44. Yeah, you're 44, and then you turn 45. Then you turn 45. So when my 45th birthday came, it was 20, I don't remember, 45th. What did they do for my 45th? Yeah, all of a sudden, I loved my 45th birthday. I looked at myself and I'm like, who cares? 45 is such a good age. Who cares about this, about, 45 is close to 50. You know, I don't have any regrets. I count my blessings. My kids are growing. They're a little more independent. I'm slowing down. I don't feel like a hamster in the wheel. I want to lower down my stress levels. I want to think about like future a little bit more optimistic. I don't run those like crazy, I don't like those crazy scenarios in my head. What's gonna happen if we run out of, like, if we don't do the laundry, we run out of underwear or something. You know, I stop being so anxious about every little thing. I stop nagging people for like throwing stuff. And I thought to myself, I'm not running a hotel here in my house to impress somebody. I'm not running a perfect hotel that they need to give me 5-star for something. So I started to let things go. I started to slack. And don't take me wrong, my house still not looking bad, or like I don't have a chaos. We're still clean. I still keep my surfaces clean. I'm still a neat freak. I just started to too high of expectations from my surroundings. I started to be less OCD about things. Let's say that. And magically, I started to love myself. I started to love my looks. I started to buy like clothes, bright clothes, you know, not all this like crazy black stuff you wrap yourself up and you don't want anybody to see you just because you have a little bulge here and there, just because you have a saggy boob or you have a saggy skin. All of a sudden I started to buy this beautiful bright clothes. All of a sudden I started to want to be seen and noticed and get compliments. I started to be like, you know, I started to appreciate myself a little more for who I am and how much I achieved, and like being an immigrant in that country. I kind of stopped beat myself up every day of like, if something is not finished or completely done, I said, I'm gonna do it tomorrow. Nothing gonna happen. You know, we're not gonna run out of forks in the morning, and I'm not gonna freak out that my coffee cup is not washed in the dishwasher. I'm gonna just take another coffee mug and go to work and be happy about it. And I don't know, I kind of like the happiest, I would say, and the kids are growing. They're doing great in school. They have meaningful conversations with you. You sit down with them. You're not telling them, oh, come on, I need to cook that. Like my dinner is burning. I can't, you know, listen to you. I started to cook, not as a chore. I started to cook as a way of meditating and putting love into every dish I make, because I want to eat healthy food. I want to eat tasty food. I want to eat light, but something very, you know, well cooked and something tasty. I don't want to have this big huge meals, you know, that stuff me up and don't do good for me. You know, we started to eat a little more healthier, and I started to let go. Like I don't worry about dinner every certain day like crazy. 2020 was definitely a transformative year for many, and generally we get wiser as we get older. Yes, I think with age and with a certain it's not only age, with a certain amount of experiences in your baggage, you kind of understand that the world is not going to fall apart. I still believe we live in the best country in the world, because, you know, we came here in order to make our life and have kids and give them opportunities, and we kind of found ourselves in a good place where we have stable, decent jobs, where we have house and roof over our heads, and we can provide for our kids financially, and we can provide for ourselves for our health care, and we provide for ourselves to have decent, safe cars, to have good foods, to choose what to eat rather than eating, you know, like rice and beans all the time. No offense. Just, you know, we worked so hard to come and be at that point. Instead of beating ourselves up, we should praise ourselves every day that we're doing a good job. We're doing enough good job. And our kids, they want to see us happy. They want to remember us happy as parents, as people, as persons, as mothers, as women, you know. And I thought to myself, from 2021 up until 2023, that were wonderful years. That were two beautiful, wonderful years when I was there for my kids, you know. I was a little more patient, a little more chilled, a little more relaxed, a little more content with myself, a little more healthier, even though, you know, we all have like few pounds to lose, or we all have to, you know, exercise a little more. I walk, I do something meaningful. I listen to the books I like to listen, you know. I have and I have friends I can talk to about. And how did they come to YouTube? Guess what? I let my freaking insecurities, go. I let them go. And I say, I'm totally fine. I'm gonna go and tell my story. And if they want to judge me for that, okay. I'm gonna deal with that. If they're gonna judge me for my accent, if they're gonna judge me for my appearance, if they're gonna judge me for my extra pounds, okay, let it be. I don't worry about it anymore. I don't have those anxieties. The world is not gonna fall apart if somebody doesn't like me, The world is not gonna fall apart, or if somebody writes me a hateful comment, So I said, I can go on YouTube and tell my story, because, in everyday life, you interact with people, you interact with your coworkers, you have to be respectful, you have to respect personal boundaries. Sometimes you can't pour out your soul because you're at work, you don't have time to, tell them all about your family, issues, or your kids, or brag or complain, whatever. You don't have time for that. At work, you have to work, Yes, you have lunch breaks, you have little socials here and there, but my philosophy, you go to work, you devote yourself to work. You kind of don't have this friendship with your coworkers, not necessarily friendship. You have good working relationship, you have professional relationship with your coworkers. But when you come home, you get busy with your kids, so it's not always enough time to meet with friends. But I still meet with friends because we make an effort. We spend we always celebrate somebody's birthday. We go for lunches, we go for our girls getaway every year, and you still find time to have something meaningful for yourself, not for you and your husband, not for you and your kids, just for yourself, just for your person, for your inner needs, So this past 2 years were amazing. And I thought to myself, why couldn't you do that when you were 30? Why couldn't you do that when you were 35? Why couldn't you be that person at 36 or even at 40? Why, you slowly came to the point when you realize you need to be a little more selfish, a little more, to save a little more energy for yourself, to be content and happy person. Because eventually I thought to myself, your kid's gonna go to college, and that happens so fast. Everybody tells you, oh, that happens so fast. Yeah, I see that happens really fast. My daughter is 14, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's just 3 years left until she finishes high school, and then she goes to college, And at the end of the day, your kid's gonna be independent adults, and you wanna spend these years so they don't remember your mom being a hamster in the wheel. They don't remember this OCD or crazy, stressed mom, all the time that, always nag them about something. They want to remember something meaningful. They want to remember your vacations. They want to remember when you sit down and you craft with them. They're going to remember how you bake with them, I let them bake now, because back in the day, I'm like, don't touch that. The kitchen is going to be dirty. You're going to break the egg on the floor. I'll never, clean my marble countertops from this, flour or something. But now I'm like, yes, I'm chilled. You want to bake? Be my guest. Bake, clean. It's okay, as long as you're happy, as long as I let them discover and explore and, try to apply their talents. As long as you can clean, put an effort. If you don't clean as good, okay, we'll deal with that. I'll show you how to clean a little better. But, I'm more patient. I'm more, patient. I'm more forgiving, every little thing I will blow my gasket, every little thing will blow my gasket. I will be like, every little thing was a big deal. Now I'm like, whatever, So I think pandemic taught us that the major value is health. and you can't argue with that. The major value is health, whether it's physical health or mental health. My second value is love. I think you should love your kids, you should love your husband, you should love your parents, and that should be a sincere love. It's you always have to find time to give your loved ones a compliment, to cheer them, to ask them how was their day, and those are simple things. Maybe when a person is not happy, maybe a person when dealing with personal mental issues, or person is dealing with health conditions, I know it might sound really hard to to be accommodating for everybody, but simple things go a long way. Every day saying thank you for little things, telling your kids how talented they are, asking them how was their day, what was good and bad. Try and be patient, not to judge them if they mess up. I don't know why my parents didn't teach me those simple things. Why I had to live up until 43 to figure them out by myself? Why? Who is there?
Are you done?
No, do you want to come say hi?
Fine.
So what I'm trying to tell, if you're in your 40s and you have young children and you feel stressed and busy, just try to slow down, just to try to give yourself a little slack, just to try to be there for your kids, to give you your attention, to say how good they are at school, how talented they are, and how you're proud of them. Just be patient when they want to bake or they want to cook. Remember we cooked Jello?
Yeah.
Did you like to cook Jello? Maybe
good.
we should cook Jello again tomorrow. Okay.
Or something else.
Cookies. Stella makes great cookies, right? She makes all cookies all by herself. I'm so proud of her.
They're good.
They're good?
They're good.
Yeah, I ate most of them. So just be good to yourself. Just, give yourself enough slack. Don't try to be so controlling, If you're tired, just simply go to bed, if you're 40 plus, it's my advice to you. Be nice to yourself. If you're tired and stressed, just go to bed. The next day you'll wake up, you'll have more energy to deal with things. You'll be rested, and you're not gonna have this big panda eyes, you're gonna you're gonna look to yourself and you're gonna love yourself for taking good care of yourself. And then I know it's easy to say, but it's hard to do. Just eat healthy food. Just start one day at a time. I know people don't like salads, but guess what? You find a way to like salads. I believe.
I'm sorry, I don't like salads. I'm sorry. Continue.
Okay, but you like cucumber.
Yeah.
You like tomato. You like fruits. You just don't like salad.
Yeah, because it has the dressing in it and all the juice and everything.
Yeah, see, Stella doesn't like salads, but she'll like salads. I still have faith when she's older. She's gonna be experiencing. She's gonna be more courageous.
Saladed.
And she's gonna try more new foods. Right?
Yeah.
You're gonna be adventurous and you're gonna try new foods. And
yes.
Yeah.
And
I still have faith.
Salad.
Yeah. You're not big on salad now, but you eat some vegetables and fruits, and I'm very proud of you for that.
Just not all mixed together.
Okay.
It's not the way to go.
That's good. I'm very glad that you eat fruits and vegetables, right?
Yes.
Good. High five. And berries. You love berries too, right? Okay. I love you.
I'm almost done.
Yes, I'm almost done. 109, maybe 115, and I'm done.
Okay.
So I don't know if this stream was truly on the balance, but probably yes, because it was not about work and life balance, but it was more about your personal your personal balance with balancing your roles for other people or for other responsibilities in life. It was probably for the balance of being happy yourself inside and happy outside, something like that. But again, simple things go a long way. I don't remember. Even now I like to be praised. I love compliments. That's my personality. I just love compliments. I love to do things and I love to be appreciated. I love simple words. I love simple thank you from my husband for a good meal, and he does that. I like a simple hug from my kids telling me I'm a good mom. Or when they show up at their events, I shed a tear and I try to film something, and my daughter says, "Why are you crying? Nothing is wrong." I said, "I'm crying of tears of happiness because I'm so proud of yourself, and I'm proud to be a part of that event. I'm proud of making time for you to be there, for you to attend this special event." And at the end of the day, when you're happy with yourself and what you do, and I started to do YouTube, and I find it as a therapy, because in real life, people are so busy. Like, my friends are busy. My friends, some of them have 2 kids, some of them have 4 kids, some of juggling jobs, some of them juggling responsibilities other than job and family, and we're busy. We cannot sit down every day and talk hours on the phone. We can't. A simple message, "How are you? Are you coming to a birthday party?" Or "Can you do a lunch with us?" or something. Facebook pictures saying hi, or like commenting on the Facebook pictures. That's how we keep in touch. That's how we interact on everyday basis. But YouTube is for you to express yourself, to sit down, reflect, to sound the topics that run in your head and you want to discuss with your viewers. Maybe to get feedback, maybe not to get feedback, maybe to be judged, maybe to be hated, but it's still interactions. It's still social life. That's why it's called social media. I'm a very social person. I wouldn't be able to live alone. Yeah, sometimes I want to be alone. Like today, I went alone to get my hair done. I went to a pretty place to smell the roses, to sit on the bench, to eat my lunch in a fancy place on Park Avenue in Orlando. It's a very nice area, just to go see the train passing by, see the kids running in the park. And I was walking with myself and I said, the world is not gonna fall apart if I take full 3 hours for myself. My laundry is not gonna run out of the house. I'm not gonna run out of my clean undies if my laundry is not gonna be done today. Everything is gonna be okay. And I went and I walked, I saw people having lunch. I saw old people. I saw young couples. And, it's all was meaningful time for myself. I was perfectly fine being by myself, being alone. Nobody called me. The home did not fall apart while I was not there. Kids found something to eat and something to do. My daughter started to cut her pumpkin to do her own jack-o'-lantern. Stella's gonna be busy with her pumpkin tomorrow. So what I'm saying, in order to be a good parent, in order to be a good wife, in order to be a good child to my elder parent, I realized I have to be good to myself first of all, and I have little regrets still that I didn't have that knowledge maybe a little earlier before I was 40, because now I kind of feel like, don't take me wrong, and again, that's my pessimist talking in me, but I'm at 47 and I already started to educate myself on the topic of the menopause. And guess what? I think it's knocking at my door really loud, the menopause thing. And I think to myself, darn it. It's been 2 years, 2 wonderful years when I finally started to feel good. When I finally started to feel so content with myself, happy, pretty, lucky, grateful. And the freaking menopause knocking at my door so loud. Why? But that's a whole different topic. I'm like, it's unfair. It's unfair. I feel like I'm 25, I feel alive for so many years when I've been so busy and wrapped up in that, crazy busy lifestyle. The past 2 years been wonderful, and all of a sudden something else, something interesting, something unfamiliar, something knocking to your door. But again, let's deal with the problems when we get them. It's never a bad idea to educate yourself what to expect, and that's what I'm actively doing right now, like, listening to everything that's available on the topic. And guess what? I want to be prepared. I want to be, kind of like armed with knowledge, and I don't want to fret about it. I don't want to, go crazy about it. I'm gonna just take one day at a time. I'm gonna be taking it like, working in the direction of keeping cool. Physically cool and like mentally cool. Yeah, you get it. Whoever is in that interesting age will, like, the pun intended, keep yourself cool. Well, and again, one day at a time. Just, I just have a regret that the knowledge of taking good care of yourself didn't occur to me a little earlier. So maybe I'll be nicer to my kids. Maybe if I wouldn't be that stressed and like that put in this, like, anyways, it's all good. I'm just telling you that if you feel something that you're not happy about, just remember that you can find all the resources, all the energy. You can find it right there in yourself, in your heart, in your head. I believe that, we are equipped with all kind of systems in us to recognize, we have some sort of instincts to save our energy, to save ourselves and be nicer, be kinder to ourselves. And again, to some people it comes early in life, they mature and they get wiser early in life. To some people like me, it comes later in life. But I'm glad it did come. I'm glad that I am doing what I'm doing now. I'm just being a little more aware of what's going on, and I'm not taking it, I'm not taking it with always with the grain of salt. I'm taking it like I'm mature enough. I can deal with that, and I'll handle everything that comes my way, because I still think that I have a capacity, I have knowledge, I have goodwill. I have, like, let's say I can put an effort. I can always try. So just, know that you're capable of a lot of things to change yourself before you can, make someone else happy, or before you can be a good role model to your kids. And especially with my girls, I want them to know that a mom is not that crazy stressed woman who gives orders and who have high expectations for, like clean house or good meals and like doing good at school. I want them to know that the mom was a person that, was worried about her interests, her hobbies, her, meaningful things that she loved, and she took good care of herself. That's important. I want to be a good role model for my girls, so they can see that even I'm helping everybody to, like, I keep that house cold and I go to work and I'm trying to please everybody. I want them to know that when they grow, they have to please themselves and be happy and content with themselves, first of all, to be there for their loved ones. So that was my live stream today. Please share your thoughts, write me comments if you experience something else like that, if those thoughts occur to you too, and how you feel about turning certain age. Do you have any regrets? Please share your thoughts with me, and maybe we all gonna share our experiences and everybody finds something useful for themselves, how to act, how to react, and stuff like that. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for watching my channel, for supporting my channel. Just have a good weekend. Enjoy time with your families. Just take good care of yourselves and just hang on in there. Love you all. Kate be with you. Bye bye. Have a good evening. Bye bye. Thank you for being with me, my viewers. Bye bye.